Keith again with Blue Knight. Welcome to the next installment of the Blue Knight Breakdown. Let's watch this all the way through. Okay, let's take a look at this and break this down. On October 19th, KIRO 7 reported that 3 armed subjects had attempted to break into a home at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. Entry was eventually made by the subjects, only to be responded to with fire from the homeowner. Home invasions, or burglaries as they're formally called, can happen at any time of day. And while some people do tend to get scared away just by someone being in the house that they didn't expect, more often than not, these guys are typically armed with some type of weapon that usually require an armed response from the homeowner in order for them to survive the situation. But I'd like to point out something in the first video about how close this really was. As you see here, once entry is made, the gun was already pointed and the owner was able to respond immediately, preventing any shots from being fired. Effective defense against this requires 2 things: a hardened target and a defense option that can handle the situation. But before I get into this too far, let's watch this video.
As maintenance workers.
Oh yes, they came to check your air filters. I'm not sure. This is 38277.
The man inside told the suspect no one was home after he was asked about checking the apartment's air conditioning unit. After that suspect left briefly, you see he returned with another man and a handgun, attempting to kick down that door. And this is what happens next.
Though it is hard to believe, yes, these things do happen even here in San Angelo, and we do need to prepare for these crimes. But more importantly, we need to have a good understanding of what the laws allow us to do here in the state of Texas, because it is a dangerous venture to wait until somebody makes entry, but it's also dangerous to shoot into an unknown. This is Texas Penal Code 9.42, deadly force to protect property. The key thing I want to point out about this is that this specifically identifies when and where you can protect your property. So let's go over this. The key thing, like anything else with use of force, is that you have to have an immediate threat that is imminent. Let's look at some of the highlights of this. It does have to be immediately necessary in order to use deadly force. I'm going to highlight some crimes specific to this: burglary, also theft during the nighttime, and criminal mischief during the nighttime. There are even provisions for using deadly force for those fleeing immediately after committing those offenses. Due to the lack of information that's out there, a lot of Texans believe that they just need to feel the fear, and that would be enough. But I can't emphasize how important it is for the immediacy and imminence of the offenses in order to justify your actions. And I know that there's going to be those that are going to argue that the laws are never going to change. Nothing will ever affect the Castle Doctrine, right? Well,
you sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
say hello to Texas Representative Terry Mesa, who just a few years ago introduced House Bill 196, specifically designed to alter Castle Doctrine. While we are very blessed that this hot piece of trash failed the first time it was entered, I want to point out that this alters it specifically by requiring us to retreat before we have the option of using any deadly force. I can't emphasize enough the importance of being aware of the laws and how often they change. More specifically, the importance of voting and being aware of these changes that can affect our rights to use deadly force. You have a diligence to not only be prepared, but also knowledgeable. Right now, let's go over some tips to get you as prepared as possible for this particular type of offense. Number 1, choose a solid core door with deeper bolts, screws, and latches. Also, have additional security options such as a security bar to prevent entry once forced. Number 2, have a defense option ready to go whenever you need it the most, making sure you're proficient, only engaging from concealment or cover, and have great knowledge and awareness of your physical surroundings and how to use them to your advantage. The primary goal of these steps is to increase the amount of time that you have in order to react efficiently and effectively in order to prevent situations like this from becoming very deadly for yourself or your loved ones. So, with that, let me introduce an option that's available right now. This is the door security bar that we have available in our online store. Not only is this used for hinge doors, but also sliding doors to prevent unwanted entry from either door. They're very easy to install, and I have seen these in the field when I responded to a call where a lady had two guys try to force entry, and the only thing that prevented them from getting through that door was this bar. These things are extremely effective and affordable. If for anything else, just to give you an extra layer of protection while you continue to work on your skill sets. Thanks again for watching. Please feel free to learn more, like, follow, and share with those that need it. But visit us at BlueKnightDefense.com where you can see our online store and learn more.